Over the last 10 years, Google has updated their search algorithm 79 times. Many of these updates are simply Google growing up in public. Some are house cleaning issues, and some are major shifts that have a profound effect on who top ranks and why. One thing is true of all these updates, that Google is staying true to its original mandate of serving up the best user experience possible. The very first Google update happened back in 2002. It was called the Google Dance. It would soon be renamed Everflux. Not too many people were paying attention to this update. It was before Google went public, and most everyone thought it was just Google tinkering with their system. In 2003, they released the Boston update. This update refreshed the index on a monthly basis and would soon be overridden with a more timely index update. The first update to have a significant impact on SEO was the Cassandra update of 2003. Google started to come down hard on hidden text and hidden links, and also put on notice anyone who was trying to game the system by building links from co-owned domains. It was the first time we saw a move to penalize what would become known as link farms. Also in 2003 came Dominic, where bounce rates were figuring into Google's assessment of link value. The Esmeralda and Fritz updates combined in July of 2003 to do away with the Boston update, giving way to a daily index update. The supplemental index is one of the most important moments in Google's history because they managed to split their content into two groups, worthy ranking content and questionable content. If you're paying attention to this update, you may well have gotten out of the business of being an affiliate marketer. Up until now, the work of SEOs was pretty easy. You could literally stuff as many keywords as you wanted into your meta tags. If you wanted your site to top rank for, say, business services, and the top ranking site that had the keyword on their page 50 times, all you needed to do was have it on your page 60 times, plus do some low-quality spam link building, and bingo, you were number one. And then came the Florida update. A collective moan could be heard around the world because this was the day that SEO changed forever. Florida began penalizing sites that were stuffing keywords. Sites by the tens of thousands vanished from the top of the search results, and SEOs cried foul. Florida was followed by the Austin update that essentially just finished the job of both Florida and Cassandra. Now all keyword stuffing and hidden text would never work again. In February 2004, we saw one of those Google growing up moments when they released Brandy. Within this update was the first time the world learned of a thing called LSI, or latent semantic indexing. The algorithm was now a teenager, able to weigh in anchor text relevance, link neighborhoods, and synonyms. Then, in 2004, Google goes public. Raising $1.7 billion with an evaluation of $20 billion, awash in cash, Google buys Keyhole, which would become the centerpiece to Google Earth, Google Maps, Panoramio, and Latitude, which in later years would enable their move into social media with Google Plus Local. In addition, Google began digitizing the world's libraries and, of course, acquiring some of the smartest minds on the planet that would shape the future of search. In 2005, Google releases NoFollow. For the first time, site owners had the ability to turn off the power of a link by essentially turning it to NoFollow. This is the first piece of the puzzle in what would eventually become known as page sculpting. The Allegra and Bourbon updates of 2005 were pretty much unnoticed as they only resulted in minor changes. The introduction of XML sitemaps in 2005, while not really an update, had a major impact on SEO as it allowed webmasters the ability to submit their sitemaps directly via webmaster tools, bypassing the traditional HTML sitemaps, giving partial influence over crawling and indexation. The personalized search update was the first time that Google began to serve up results based on personal behavior. Small at first, this would grow over time. In October 2005, Google merged its map data into the Local Business Center and released Google Local Maps, putting into play local SEO. The Jagger update of 2005 is where the spam team at Google really started to show their teeth by targeting sites using reciprocal links, link farms, and paid links. Big Daddy was the first infrastructure update. It changed the way Google handled URL canonicalization in 301 and 302 redirects. The years of 2006, 2007, and 2008 were very quiet on the Google algorithm front. This 3-year span gave birth to SEO exploding all over the world. The ground rules seemed simple. They were set. A website simply had to not use link farms, not buy links, not keyword stuff, make sure they cleaned up any canonical and redirect issues, and submit their sitemaps via Google Webmaster Tools. Easy, right? So this meant that SEOs could do two things as much as they wanted, and it would produce profound results. Number one, create thousands of pages of content. As long as it was original, it would pass. And number two, build thousands and thousands of links using anchor text. And then SEO went global. For $10,000 a month, you could have your own link building team in the Philippines and run it all off of Skype. You could hire teams of 50 content writers and pay them $3 an article to write shallow content for business services, tennis shoes, email marketing, you name it. It was in play. The combination of those two factors that rose up during the algorithm hiatus of 2006 to 2008 is when web spam really took root and SEOs dominated the web. In essence, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. In February 2009, things started to shift again in the form of events. SEOs began to notice that Google was favoring big brands in the search. It was speculated that the top search results for shoes shouldn't go to a 20-year-old in his basement just because he was able to outsource 500,000 pages of content and 50,000 external links. Google then made it easier for webmasters to nominate which pages should be given credit for original content with its rel canonical tag update. In December 2009, social media companies finally got what they were hoping for in the form of real-time search plus caffeine updates. These updates would partially weigh in the social media footprint of a company and consider things like page speed and outbound links as social media signals, although it was debated just how relevant these signals were. May 2010, the appropriately named May Day update had SEOs and site owners scratching their heads again as they saw the long tail get wiped out. Google would no longer rank a page for a long-tail term just because that page had shallow content and spammy links. May Day was a sign of things to come with the Panda update. The brand update allowed the same URL or brand to appear multiple times on a search result. The Google Instant update had many SEOs up in arms. Still reeling from Vince and May Day, SEOs around the world were certain that Google was waging a war on SEO. However, all they were really doing was staying true to their original mandate, which again was to create the best possible user experience. Notwithstanding the fact that it appears as though Google Instant is tied to PPC, it simply allowed for the fact that people type slowly but read fast, and it claims to have saved 2 to 5 seconds per search. In December of 2010, a rather idiotic incident happened when decormyeyes.com was able to obtain top rankings for negative reviews. This prompted Google to adjust the algorithm to make sure no one else was able to game the system via negative reviews. Then, in January 2011, jcpenney.com and overstock.com both became SEO cautionary tales. For JCPenney, it was a case of having purchased thousands of links via link brokers, whereas overstock.com had been running a program of encouraging websites of colleges and universities to post links on overstock.com. In return, students and faculty would receive discounts on shopping at overstock.com. Both jcpenney.com and overstock.com appeared to be doing it for the sake of ranking. Both of them saw dramatic drops in their Google rankings. Considering what had just happened with JCPenney and Overstock, plus what had been foreshadowed with the May Day update back in 2010, it was somewhat expected that the next major algorithmic update would be coming soon, and boy did it come. The Panda Farmer update of February 2011 affected some 12% of the search results. It cracked down on thin content, content farms, sites with high ad-to-content ratios, and a number of other quality issues. And the Panda update kept coming and coming and coming and coming. Since its original rollout, Panda has been updated some 14 times, and while the specific details of many of these updates remain unknown, there are significant nuances that most SEOs aren't talking about but should be. You see, because Panda was predicated with the JCPenney and Overstock incidents, most SEOs tend to talk about content and link quality, and those two factors are indeed very important. However, the other elements that came with Panda are the reinforcing factors of social media, website registration, which is really bad neighborhoods, CTR data, domain trust signals, domain authority, and the age of a domain. All of it equals Panda. You can have the best content and links on the planet, but if you're hosting alongside gambling and pornography sites and have little to no social media footprint, you won't get very far with competitive keywords. So where did this update leave us exactly? What did an A+ in SEO look like post-Panda? 15% of it came in the form of SEM trust, or the authority of a host domain. 15% came from social media signals. 14% came from your website traffic and actual click-through data. 5% had to do with website registration and hosting data. 10% was SEO of on-page factors. 16% was SEM of the anchor text used in external backlinks coming into your page. 21% is now assigned to the link popularity of a specific page. And 5% has to do with the age of the domain. So remember those link building teams in the Philippines and those 50 bad content writers? It was fun while it lasted, fellas. It's estimated that the Panda update put up to 60% of SEOs out of business, and frankly, that was a good thing. It meant the ones who survived were able to change their processes to the point of being able to both maintain and improve their clients' rankings. You can no longer just say that you kept up with the Google algorithm. You really had to know your stuff. The next major algorithm update was Google Plus Your World, coming out in January 2012, pushing Google Plus over relevancy. This radical shift in personalization aggressively pushed user profiles into the SERPs. Off the back of Google Plus Your World came the Venice update that put a much greater emphasis on local results. Venice brought together all the elements of Maps, Places, Google Plus, and Google Plus Your World in a user interface that gave birth to a brand new round of SEO companies popping up all over the world offering local SEO services. Then, on April 27, 2012, Google did something kind of unexpected. They released the Penguin update. Apart from continuing the work that had been done by Panda, Penguin was profound, and it really started to dig deeper into the link diversity and take on the problem of web spam. Google's official comment on Penguin stated that we're launching an important algorithm change targeted at web spam. The change will decrease the rankings for sites that we believe are violating Google's quality guidelines. It went on to say, our advice for webmasters is to focus on creating high-quality sites that create a good user experience and employ white-hat SEO methods instead of engaging in aggressive spam techniques. In fact, Google sent out over 700,000 emails to webmaster with this dreaded message. So what does this mean about the links that are being built into a site? Well, they have to be built from relevant sites. They have to be diversified. They have to be from strong host sites, and Google wants to see the brand come along for the ride. For instance, if a company wants to rank for e-commerce solutions, then Google wants to see that the site and the brand deserves that kind of ranking. In other words, it's great that you have 10,000 diversified anchor text links that are about the topic of e-commerce solutions, but you also need to have 5,000 of those links carry the name of the company and the URL and a variation of the actual keyword. As every update happens, we'll be editing this video, so make sure you register your details on this page for all updates.